Well, I'm delighted today to be here with Paul Welch at his fantastic studio here in Guernsey. Paul, great to see you.
David, delight and pleasure to meet you both as always. Fantastic.
So we're going to talk a little bit about your journey as a content creator, what you've learned along the way. I mean, we started making some content together going back a few years.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit more about when you started off making content. Yeah.
Well, my valuable lessons in learning from failure started over a year ago. And I did some work for Mr. Beast, the famous YouTuber, and we bought a jet for him that he then gave away in a competition. And for those that don't know, Mr. Beast is probably the world's most famous YouTuber.
Where have you been?
You know,
if you don't know him.
But I didn't know either.
Yeah.
It was booked in my diary and it was like, who the heck's Mr. Beast? It's like, what are you talking about? And I was told to go home, speak to my kids. And it was like, Daddy, is he a client? Is he coming to London? Are we going to meet him? Is he buying a house? I was like, whoa, slow down. So that was my introduction to the kind of world of the creator economy and content creation.
Because your content is all driven around, I suppose, the financial world, the high net worth, the luxury space. It leverages your experience. So tell us a little bit about your style, I guess, online.
Yeah, so it's kind of evolving. So, you know, I started a year ago. I had the time. I didn't probably trade per se for about 3 months. And then the Mr. Beast social media team said, Paul, you'll be good on camera. You should have your own channel. And I was like, oh my Lord, I'm 53 years young. Don't be so stupid. And I think there's some mugs around here about the oldest influencer in town. And I wasn't that keen to like pick up a camera and what have you. And then before then, Charles Ayton that I used to work with used to joke about my sea swimming and my videos I was doing, but I was kind of doing that to kind of cope with my mental health and my daughter being unwell and stuff. So the journey started over a year ago. I bought a camera and I started filming, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do and where it was going to go. And I was posting a video every other day because the algorithm, which is your audience, needs to pick you up. And generally speaking, your videos, I was advised at that time, needed to be of 8-minute duration and post every other day. And that's relentless.
Finance can be quite dry, but you make it more engaging. I mean, how do you think about taking something that's important but dry and delivering it in a way that's actually in line with the way? What's your reflections on that? The serious stuff, but done well in an interesting way.
I mean, I jump off the side of super yachts and I get into bathtubs and do some crazy stuff. But I try and link it to mental health too, because I've realised that there's a lot of people out there that need a bit of help from time to time and don't know who to talk to, especially men. I mean, you know, I was very kind of suicidal a bit when my daughter was critical and when I really did struggle. And so for me, I use sea swimming, whether it's a boat and a yacht video we just did recently. I just literally sat in the hot tub. It was freezing cold water because the guy never used it, and try and make it fun. I mean, in Monaco Yacht Show, I just came back last night. It was a €200,000 bathtub, handmade from mother of pearl shells. So I try and share unbelievable things that I get to see whilst talking about the financing of those assets that underline what I'm on, whether it's a jet, a yacht, whether it's real estate. I try and educate people on how to do things around the assets that I'm visiting.
Because people are interested in seeing credible professionals in those settings, aren't they? In that, like you say, that behind the scenes shot at these key places.
I mean, for me, you know, going back from the journey, it's kind of like I was invited by LinkedIn to join their creator program. And again, it's like, really? I'm 50, you know, that age thing, which is kind of irrelevant really, but it is, because when you kind of you are over 50, you think, why do they want you or me doing what I do? And it's having the confidence to start. And I think for me, my advice would be every single person that's in business should either have a YouTube channel or a social media channel, because without question, there's billions of views every single day that people should be. You either have to educate and or entertain, going back to your question.
And what are the platforms that you see? I mean, where do you think people could kind of zero in, or what do you look at yourself to try and develop?
Master one first and become a hero on one platform. So for me, it was LinkedIn and then YouTube. LinkedIn is very good. So understanding your audience. who's watching your content, and what are you looking to do to add value and or entertain. So the builders this morning, the guy that owns the building site that's building the houses, came up to me and was laughing himself silly because I just had a fight with a sea bob, over 50 fight to sea bob, and the sea bob was going round and round and round and round on my arm this morning. My shoulder was killing me. This thing takes you like 20 meters undersea. So it's kind of like, I've seen so many people that have seen the videos and are enjoying the content. So going back to the question about platforms, I mean, from a professional capacity, I got signed by a talent agency. If you go back, so I started producing content 4 times a week, started getting engagement, and I experimented a little bit with TikTok, Instagram. I haven't mastered that. I need to master that. I got signed by a talent agency. Again, they're called talentandbrands.com. They have famous people, Kylie Minogue, Robbie Williams, Raf is my manager. And then they have that celebrity talent. Then they have social media talent. And across LinkedIn and YouTube, I'm now at 75,000 followers or connections.
Yeah. Because in the finance world, there is an absence of these personalities, isn't there? I mean, in the real estate world, you see them, you know, much more in certain sectors, you see they're much more prevalent.
So the talent agency have just rebranded me to be the wealth expert.
Yeah.
So my LinkedIn and YouTube has that banner now, and I'm in the process of producing a website, and we're going to position, well, they want me to be positioning myself as the wealth expert, and what they're saying and wanting me to become is kind of like a more upmarket Martin Lewis type person. So I've had some TV auditions. I'm talking to Amazon Prime about something at the moment where they again approached me because they like the story, lost a business, daughter critically unwell, had surgery, recovered, started content in my 50s, learned all this camera equipment, lighting, mics, you name it. And so I'm just rebranding to be this wealth expert person, which I kind of, again, anyone that's in business, you feel like a bit of an imposter because yes, you qualified as an IFA, yes, you did private banking for, 10, 15 years, managed hundreds of millions of pounds for clients, then you set up your own business, then you do over 4 billion of financing of these assets. But even though you still have your doubts about confidence to press record.
But you're a good performer, aren't you? I mean, you like the fun and the energy of it, don't you? I can tell.
My late father had Parkinson's, and I learned from the Stephen Bartlett, Gary Brecker podcast about a gene called the MTHR gene. And excuse the language, but they call it the motherfucker gene. And it is true. And so I did this life code test. So that gene, my body only produces 30% of all of the dopamine and serotonin that I need to be normal. And I'm not normal, and a lot of the time, sometimes I do feel a bit down and blue when I have nothing to feel down and blue about. So anyway, my cold water swimming is one of the main reasons why I love the cold plunge so much, because it gives me natural releases of dopamine. And what I've recently discovered is that I also enjoy saunas. So what you can do is you can have a cold plunge and a sauna and rotate. So I feel much better and I sleep much better, and that's natural.
Because you're in Guernsey, so you're creating content from here, you're creating content on the road. Does the island environment give you inspiration? I mean, I've seen you doing stuff over in Alderney. It's both the local and the international kind of stitched together that I think I certainly enjoy.
I mean, the builder said to me, you just live such a life, and it's kind of, you are on an airplane a lot. Living in Guernsey has its challenges for connectivity, or either fog or whatever. So it's 2 flights for every international trip. So it's 4 flights a week if you're going to, I've just come back from Monaco to Nice. So that's 4 flights. So I go with what's relevant. So we've just recorded an interview with Irene from Savills in Monaco, and it's going to be how to relocate to Monaco, because the audience are searching for how to relocate to Dubai, how to relocate to Guernsey, Alderney, Jersey. And it's kind of like, if you want to broaden your audience, you need to produce content that's relevant to the current trend to educate.
And what are some of the key sort of analytics if people are making stuff? What is it? What are the yardsticks once you're up and running?
Click-through ratio. So CTR is click-through ratio, average view duration, average viewer per viewer. And what I mean by that is your thumbnail. So if I say to you, how quickly does your brain process an image? It's 13 milliseconds. So you see a thumbnail, which is an advert in old school language, and you click. But the thumbnail is then followed by the title, is then followed by the quality of the content. So you're competing, I think there's over 2 billion pieces of content produced daily, but only 1% of the world produces content.
Wow.
So you and I are in the top 1% because we're producing content. So going back to the key figures, click-through ratio, you've got to be looking at 5 to 20%. Because if you see 100 adverts, you want yours to pop. You want to see that it stands out, and it's normally brighter colors, simplicity. You've got to try and tell a story in a picture. That's the click-through ratio. If you don't get the click, you have zero chance of getting a watch, and you earn zero money.
And you were at a huge creator show in the States.
Summit.
Yeah, I mean, tell us about that. What kind of inspiration did that give you?
Another level.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, Vid Summit, Daryl Eves is like the god of YouTube, and he's advising most of the world's largest YouTube superstars. The level of detail and the studying of the data is different platforms. So when you look at retention graphs, so you have your click-through ratio, CTR is click, then the average view duration is that YouTube want their audience to watch your videos for longer, and YouTube wants people to stay on the platform for longer. And YouTube has now overtaken Netflix and is the world's largest streaming platform in the world. And I think it makes, I can't remember the numbers, whether it's 1.5 billion or 15 billion. It makes a lot of money every couple of weeks from advertising, and it has the best platform for creators. So, to educate people on money with YouTube, you get from 2 cents to 40 cents per view. Finance is the largest category. So if I get 250,000 views in a month, that will pay about $8,000 per month. If I then have 4 videos and I get sponsorship, because of my audience level, you'll earn between 5,000 and 10,000 per video per month. So you can earn 20 to 40,000 per month in sponsorship, $10,000 a month in AdSense revenue, and YouTube is the best paying platform. And then you have business. If someone phones up, wants to borrow 2 million or buy a house, a car, a jet, so you get your business. So for me, I'm using the platforms to drive business. And in America, the creator economy is different level. They're 5 years ahead of where we are.
And you mentioned that all professionals should really have a footprint. They need to be online. The wealth sector has been a laggard really in this kind of personal branding in a sense. I mean, how should people think about getting started if they're not sure?
What
kind of kit do you have around here? I mean, we're in an Aladdin's cave, it feels like here, of all sorts. But so there's a few bits here that are quite interesting, aren't there?
Yeah, so for me, your mobile phone, if it's an Apple phone, always record in cinematic mode, because that is the same picture quality as any camera. So cinematic mode, it just start. And you can have different angles where you come to your camera, sit down, move. You could probably film in 3 different ways with your camera. You can use CapCut, which is like £15 a month to edit. So my daughter has done quite a bit of my editing for me because I'm not good at that. And then
you can get editing quite, you know what I mean? You can develop ways of editing, isn't it?
I've got 5 different, so being in America, so I'm testing different editing styles. I've got a guy in northern India, which is for 10 minutes worth of content. It normally takes 1 hour to produce 1 minute of content with the music, the colors, the lighting, the branding. And I may pay $100 for a guy in northern India. In America, I met this team, and for $500, it would be 1 long form interview. So that's 3 to 10 minutes is long form, 3 shorts, which is 30 seconds to a minute, and then a thumbnail. That may be $500. Then I have a drone specialist and a videographer that travel with me, and they can be anywhere from £50 to £100, depending on their expertise at flying the equipment. So equipment wise, I have these Meta glasses. So basically, if we press record now, so this is now recording, you see the light flashing, and this gets you a behind the scenes look. So you can see all the lighting.
I need a pair of those.
I can look at you. They're amazing. It's going to give you, I'm looking at you and I'm recording you. And this is recording everything, so everything we see now. So
how great at a conference or some kind of fun event or something like that?
Up to 3 minutes. And for me, the LinkedIn program have asked for more behind the scenes type things. So these glasses, Ray-Bans, Meta, they link to your phone, you download them instantly, they flash, you stop it to play. And if you want to take a picture, you say, hey Meta, take a photo. And it'll take a photo. And that's
cool.
That is your glasses. And you can have them in sunglasses. And then I have a DJI Nero, which basically this thing will fly from the palm of your hand, and it will do a droney, it'll go straight up. It'll do a follow mode, so between 5 meters and 10 meters, it'll either follow.
So you can walk along.
Correct.
Yeah.
You'll either follow in front when you're walking or follow behind. Does a rocket, does a 360. So any person can just do this and it will fly up and it will
all the
record.
data straight to your phone.
Straight to your phone.
You can manipulate from there.
You can edit.
Wow.
And then, this is a DJI 4K quality, and it literally will follow you. You can do a short, horizontal, verticals. It will literally, I think that was $200. The glasses were $399, and I think this creator combo was $599. But literally, you can put it on a stand. It will follow. You can double click on it.
Yeah.
And
you have everything you need.
And then you just plug it in and download it.
Yeah.
And you can do the glasses, your mobile phone, and the DJI, and then you would send it to your editor, who can then clip. But you have to do, the thing with finance and the content is making it engaging. So you want to be looking to change. So there's a lady called Jenny, I think it's Hoyos. She's had over 1 billion views of her content. She analyzes every single frame. So these cameras and this equipment are normally set at 50 frames a second. So you count 1 to a 50 in 1 second, that's 50 frames. She analyzes her retention, because what you want to do in order to earn money, you want your audience to watch your content for longer. But it's got to be engaging. And when you look at retention graphs and all the analytics, you can see where your videos are performing. And you have seconds, you have milliseconds to get the click, then the title, then they start watching your content. And the key thing is re-engagement, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 18 seconds, and 30 seconds. And at those points, you can see frame by frame, second by second, people leaving your content. So average view duration, going back to metrics, is a key thing, because you want people to watch your content for as long as possible, because you get paid by YouTube or the platform you're on, Instagram, TikTok, all social media platforms pay. It's just YouTube is the best in terms of I think it's a 55-45 split. So if you earn £100, you get 45, they get 55, something like that. But yeah, retention.
So what's coming up for you in the future? Have you got, I imagine you've always got projects cooking, but what's interesting,
Yeah, so I've just done Monaco, which is kind of, 200,000 euro mother of pearl bathtubs with a brand. I've been asked to film. So I did a cave pool in Marbella recently, and that was an unbelievable house that had an outdoor beach. It had a cave pool, had a swim jet, a cold plunge, and a sauna. And the developer that saw the video has asked me, would I film a friend's villa? And we're going back to Zagaleta, I think in November, for a house that has a slide, and we can share the pictures from the top floor to the bottom. It has 6 floors, and it's a 55 million euro property. I think it's called Unicorn.
Fabulous.
So I'm going to do that, which will probably be next. And then other content. Next week in London, I'm doing some mental health work. There's a client of the agency, Professor Green, I believe he's a rapper, got 1 million followers. He has a cold plunge day on the Thursday, and I'm doing my own day on the Friday, where we'll be doing sauna, breath work, and cold plunge.
Amazing.
So yeah, those
Well,
are a
Paul,
few things.
so good to talk. Always great to see you. We're great to talk to you. And if
Thank you.
people aren't already following you, they really must. They should catch you on all the platforms you're on.
But that's very kind. But I think for me, if anyone needs help, I'm very happy to help and speak and guide people. And I think for me, it's just about educating people. And through education, you can help others. I think that's the key thing. And just start. You know, don't be afraid to start. And what you've got to remember is that you have lots of valuable knowledge that you just take for granted. And the majority of people don't know what you know. So start and enjoy and have fun.
Fabulous. Great message to end on. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, David.